Hey everyone, all right, so we're live, look at that. So if you're seeing this now, you're probably seeing a replay through your newsfeed, so welcome. I'm sitting here at Jezreel Valley Winery here with Jacob. Jacob is the founder here. We're drinking some wine. You're actually probably seeing the tail end of us drinking, at least for me. Just imagine this is my afternoon. I get to work here till calls here. So since we're already less than sober or more than sober, depending on how you look at it, if anyone wants a LinkedIn marketing review free live screen share later this afternoon, starting at 5:30, send me a message on LinkedIn and I'll do it from here from the Jezreel Vallery Winery. Why not? It will not be sober. I expect you to come with the drink too. So anyway, let's have some fun, right? That's why we're here at the Jezreel Valley Winery. So Jacob, let's talk marketing because that's really our main topic. But more importantly, you're an entrepreneur, you're writing a business, and right before we went live, you started to tell me something and I said, wait, keep it for the live, right? I was wearing my Gems hat, which I was wearing this morning. I was playing a little golf. And you were saying that it was sometimes when you want to, your turnaround is very important. Now for technology companies, they have their sales cycle is between 9 months, usually in 2 years.
Right. Once it takes off, right? We're talking about the hockey stick, right?
Correct.
It's imminently scalable, right? So
yes,
software, you just once it gets out there and boom, you can. Right? You don't have to even send discs anymore. You don't have to do anything. Imminently scalable.
Correct. So let's talk about that for a minute. So you were just saying Gems, which is a beer place, which is amazingly great. They're a great franchise. They make very good beer. Look, we already got people. Hey, Susan, we're saying if anyone wants to comment in the comments, keep in mind there's like a 10-second delay, maybe 20 seconds. It's LinkedIn. It's LinkedIn. It's not even LinkedIn. We're actually using a third party. Anyway, I just want to make sure we're live, so we'll check out the comments from time to time. So some people and B2C, and let's say beer, we can compare beer, B2C, wine, B2B when it comes to site. That you can turn things out and maybe often quickly even manufacture widgets quickly. Right. Beer, you can say, I'm out of beer, I'm short, it will take 2 months. How about
2 weeks?
2 weeks. How about wine? How long?
2 weeks. You want to make I would say, a good to great wine before we can get to the 1 in a million. A good to great wine will take you anywhere between a year to 2.5 years, and that's after harvest. So once you pick the grapes,
right.
So if you look back, though, you've been working, right? Even the wine that you bottle after a year, you were working in that vineyard for a year already beforehand.
Correct.
You then pick the grapes, you make the wine. Our youngest wine, Alpha, for example, which is our best seller, we age for about 10 months in barrels, and then we bottle it soon after, blend and then bottle. So that, let's say there's a turnaround time of a year, within a year. But that's from the time we pick the grapes.
Right.
We were working in those vineyards all year long. So, it's a huge difference in terms of when you look at making beer, which once you have all the ingredients, and most people in the beer industry aren't growing their own hops and so on, they're buying them in the open market. So there you have all your ingredients. Boom, boom, boom. It takes you 2 weeks, to make another batch of beer. It's going to take us. You say, I really love this wine. I want to order a gazillion of them.
It's my favorite number.
Right. You want to order a gazillion of these, and I'll say, okay, come back in 2.5 years.
Right.
If I can.
Right, and write me a check now.
Right, and then if you say to me, you have to finance, right, the vineyard.
Right, exactly.
I'll come back with the check. I'll say no, thank you. So it's an industry which, no matter how much technology we bring to bear on it, it's still very much rooted in the ground.
Like literally
rooted in the ground.
Right. All right. So here's things so that we can learn, right? So that you have to understand sometimes, and as marketers, we often get like, all right, we need leads. And we're like, okay. And we say, we want leads yesterday. Great. How many leads? What do you want? What's your budget? What's your price? We talk about this. And even you want new customers. Now, when people don't turn around and tell their sales team, I want you to close your pipeline next week. They understand it takes time. People also understand in marketing, particularly in B2B, and in technology companies, we need 10 touch points. Study, Google it. LinkedIn frequently references it. That's the wine speaking. Wine lisp in there, starting to sound like Joe Biden. And really Nancy Pelosi.
Read off the teleprompter.
Right, read off the teleprompter. Is that you can't turn things around right away, and that's like the part of it is actually patience. And when it comes to, as an entrepreneur, which you are, when it comes to building your business, there's an insane amount of patience. Because you might have a vision, and it could be either what you see in your winery or in your product, or even if you're doing drop shipping, buying in China and dropping it off at, let's say, at an Amazon, right, and dealing all that, managing everything online. There's still a process, and there's still a time frame of checking out samples from your supplier.
And you also don't want the pipeline to get cold. In other words, so let's say the person's drop shipping from the factory in China. If they can't make more of those doodads, right? But they've gotten the pipeline moving, the pipeline's going to get frustrated and go elsewhere.
Correct.
And that is even more challenging in the fine wine world. So let's say I go to restaurant, XYZ, and I get them really interested in my wine, and they put the wine on the wine menu, and it's really working for them. They're going through cases of wine a week. Everything's great, right? It's all looking rosé. It's all looking really good. What happens? They then come back for another order, and I say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sold out." But now they spent a month, 2 months getting their clientele used to drinking this wine. Everybody's been ordering this wine. They love this wine. Right. It's working really well for them. They've been making a lot of money on this wine.
Right.
Restaurants make most of their profit on wine. And now I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sold out. Come back in 10 months. You'll have to figure something else out.
Right.
Do you think he wants to talk to me in 10 months?
Nah, but then he's going to another wine. He's
and he's like, you wasted my time. You made me print new wine menus. Right. And to get you on the wines, I got you on the wines. I got people interested. I educated all my staff. And then you sell out in 2 months without telling me. So when we have to calibrate the supply and demand.
Jesus, sounds crazy.
Yeah. We have to calibrate supply and demand so that I can. So one way you do it, the crude way to do it, is to say, okay, Mr. Restaurant or Ms. Restaurant, how much wine are you going through? Okay, I see that. Let me put aside enough wine until I'm going to be bottling this wine again in a year from now or however long, right? But that's a huge leap of faith.
Right.
They may take me off the wine menu, and now I've got all this wine sitting theoretically waiting for that pipeline, which didn't really exist. So it's a lot of calibrating supply and demand all the time.
If there are any technical issues, please comment, let me know, pop me a LinkedIn message, or you can WhatsApp me. My phone's over there, but just the other one. Yeah, that's your phone. All right, so far we worked in one wine pun into this conversation.
All right, we'll come up.
Do we have a goal?
No. It's a drinking game.
It is a drinking game.
We have a bottle of wine to finish. So,
look at that. This is cool. This is inappropriate. Not relevant. I just ordered wooden business cards. Isn't that cool? Here, I'll show you.
You don't get splinters.
It just came in. My wife said it to me. Got it delivered. She's in the States. Now look cool. What do you guys think?
Don't
tell me what you guys think.
Don't sit on your business.
No, I won't. These I'll give around like it's memorable. It's like metal business cards again.
Right.
You see those rarely. But I was like, let's take it to like the next step, because this kind of goes back to like organic and natural, and that's what market needs to be. Yeah. A lot of people, they push sell.
You have to sharpen those wooden business cards.
Yeah, I thought. I was going to sand it, but I thought maybe I should put like little splinters in them. Awesome, great. Okay, so next thing is I specifically wanted to talk to you about is the actual what goes on here behind the scenes.
Right.
So right before we actually we decided to do this live, we were hanging out, we were drinking wine, eating olives, and talking marketing. And I just noticed literally behind me, just hanging outside, is there's 3 different crazy things going on. Go to Jacob's LinkedIn profile. You can Jacob Ner David, NERDAVID. And you can see, I think he posted earlier this video. There was one woman measuring the pH and the acidity. We'll get into all this.
The Brix content.
The Brix, BRIX content, basically to see how sweet the grapes are and if they're ready. And then another thing, there are these people rolling out these massive not metal, whatever they are, like aluminum looking wrapping paper to protect it from the crazy sun that we have here in Israel. And then there was another guy massaging grapes. Now, this is the only winery that massages grapes. Now, you might have heard about actual slaughterhouse.
Each grape we treasure.
You treasure.
Yeah, each grape.
Right. So you can buy free-range meat where they massage the animals.
Free-range grapes.
Free-range grapes. Now these are free-range grapes. Okay. So these grapes get to move freely while connected to the vine. Only in Jezreel Valley. So this guy's massaging it, and it makes a funny ass sound when it massages it. You got to watch the video. Go over to his LinkedIn profile, and you'll see literally in a couple minutes. I turn around, I'm like, look at all this content.
It's a treasure trove.
It's a treasure trove. So not to mention, it could have literally been cut up to maybe a dozen pieces of content, and like I don't know how long it was.
Right. Well, you take an 8-minute
video.
Yeah.
Right. Where there were 3 things going on.
Right.
And at least the first section, which was most of the video, can easily be cut up into 3 or 4
yeah.
pieces. So we got several pieces of content. Now, I'm not an expert in micro content, but what I can tell you is that if you look around, everywhere you look is an opportunity to engage with our audience. So we can talk about the taste and the flavor and trying wine, going back to what Gary Vaynerchuk used to do.
Right.
So what do you think people, let's say, such as a winery or any other, let's say, business that might, just in general, where do you think are some low-hanging grapes, there's our second pun, when it comes to being able to make quick and easy content?
Yeah, I mean, it's not all white and red. I'll try and come up with some more, but yeah. So look, I think 99.9% of what goes on in terms of making a bottle of wine never gets seen by the people buying that wine. The average experience for most of us is I walk into a wine store, I look at the labels, maybe the dude or dudette in the wine store has something to say, but usually I'm just going like, oh, that looks like a cool label, and it's within my budget, and,
right?
And I think it's a wine that I may like.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't get to taste it, you don't get to smell it, you don't really know that much about the wine. If you had all the time in the world, I guess you could Google that wine, the winery, and sit there reading while you're standing,
but no one's going to
while you're standing in the store. But you don't do that. You take the wine, you go home, you drink it. At best, you drink it under some good conditions, so you get some experience out of it, and that's it, right? You're literally the tip of the iceberg. You're missing this massive amount of incredible content, which you started to witness just here. It's everything that's going on to make that bottle of wine possible. And I think as we go further into the digital age, we're expecting to see more of that. We're expecting to get exposed to more of that. So I think, that, from my point of view, is the low-hanging, grapes are just literally show us what goes into making wine. Most people don't know.
So I saw on YouTube randomly like half a year ago. I'm shocked. So I for some reason something went over me. Please here. What are we drinking, by the way?
This is a Dumine.
Show me the label, guys. If you see this in the supermarket, hold up. Just the top. You got to give it a shot. Now when it comes to, it's not the most inexpensive, but when it comes to value, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to impress, it's great. I also love the Nikudot.
Right.
Under the letters.
The Israeli.
I got this really bright shirt for like 9 shekels from Castro. Mm-hmm. Castro is a clothing chain in Israel, and it says Yalla Bye in English, and then it had the grammar of the letters.
Yeah.
It's like
I think they might have copied it from us, but
yeah, they probably did. But I love it.
Yeah. So, in fact, when I first wanted to do this with the dots, the Nikudot, the dots. So when I wanted to do the dots, you can't.
There you go. Now you can't.
Yeah. Anyway, you wanted to do the. I'll show it to you here. Go this way.
There you go.
And there we go.
The dots and
I wanted to do the dots and the J, right, and the Z. When I first wanted to do that, these Tel Aviv marketing people who have inferiority complexes about their Hebrew identity.
Oh my God,
they were like,
unreal.
Why would you want to do that?
Right.
Who would be interested in that? And why would you use that name? And the whole thing. I'm like, this is where we are. We're in the Jezreel Valley. Billions of people around the world actually know what that is.
Yes.
Let's be proud of it. And then I said, we're going to go with the Nikudot to remind people of the Hebrew. Even if they don't even know, there's intuition. They don't even know what it is.
That's true.
But they just get it.
Who cares? It freaking looks cool, man.
Right. They just get some sort of weird sense of what are you trying to do there? So anyway, we went with that against the North Tel Aviv
Yes.
branding people's.
But also,
opinions.
the Jews have some kind of messed up complex.
Yeah, we got a lot of.
You're probably the most insecure people
Yeah,
ever,
we got
which
a
is why you need to drink more wine.
Yes.
It helps,
We definitely.
helps with your
We
insecurity.
definitely need to drink more wine. It instills confidence. Definitely instills confidence in us. So this is Adumim. This is a blend of our core 3 varietals.
Wait, what the hell does that mean?
I'm explaining.
So, don't talk like a snout.
I'm not doing this.
Okay.
Varietals is a type of grape. So 3 types of grapes.
Okay. Are
One.
you guys learning?
Okay.
Let me know if you're learning.
All right,
'Cause
so
I'm-
one most people probably heard of, which is Shiraz, sometimes also called Shiraz,
Right.
which is a pretty popular.
I learned about this.
Pretty popular.
Shiraz was originally from Persia.
It's the same
Right.
grape.
It's the
Yeah,
same grape. When they imported it to Europe, no one wanted it, so
Right,
they
call it
actually.
Shiraz.
So then they rebranded
So
it
in
Shiraz.
Australia, it's known as Shiraz.
Which, by the way, let's talk about marketing for a minute.
Oh, it's total marketing.
It's total marketing. No, think about this. I learned this when I was at Tishby.
We literally, folks, don't tell anyone, but we literally took.
Tell everyone.
We took our Shiraz, and in one of the blends we did, we put on the back of the wine Shiraz.
Okay.
Right? Automatically, people had a better reaction
So what, the Shiraz?
to Shiraz. Ooh, that's sexy.
It does sound sexy. That's with the eyes.
Exactly.
It's like jazz, yeah.
Oh, it's Shiraz. Oh, it's Shiraz. Shiraz, like, sounds too lofty, yeah.
So
But Shiraz, that's cool. So we have the Shiraz.
because it sounds
That's
sexy.
sexy. We have Carignan,
Right.
which is a Middle East, a Mediterranean variety.
That also sounds sexy.
Right. It's a Mediterranean varietal, sun-loving. Also, the Shiraz is sun-loving. And then we have a type of grape, a varietal type of grape, which is called Argaman, which is only grown in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
It was created in Israel by combining Carignan about 50 years ago, by combining Carignan and another type of grape called Suzo, which is a Portuguese, also very sun-loving good type of grape, and created Argaman. It was planted widely in Israel about 50 years ago, 50 up to about 40 years ago. People have no idea what to do with it. It's got incredible coloring, so people started using it to color cheaper wine or wine lacking in color.
Oh, that's interesting. Huh?
And that's what.
Which is marketing in itself.
And that's what it was used for.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of a natural version in the States. It's something called Mega Purple, which is like a food coloring kind of a thing, which is added to some wines. So here, the natural Mega Purple was Argaman. We found Argaman, and we said we are going to make Argaman our flagship. This is a modern Israeli varietal.
That's
It
cool.
represents what we were about. And so we have Adumim, which is our main blend, which just means reds. We were lazy when we were naming it.
It doesn't matter.
It just means reds. Is those 3 types of grapes together. We age them for about 18 months, then we blend them, and then we age them a bit more. And then we have this one.
You got this beer.
Cheers.
Cheers, dude. Fine. Okay, so let's talk marketing. I go through the aisle. Now, I'm no wine connoisseur.
Well, you already said that you buy one in the supermarket. So.
I do. That's fine. So which means I'm not, right? So let's get into that in a minute. But let's talk about
just to be snobby, you know.
Yeah. That's fine. Go ahead. So let's just say it kind of reminds me like I go through the aisles, and I'm assuming most wine consumers.
Where do you buy your hummus? Do you buy your hummus in the supermarket too?
I shouldn't, but I do.
Oh my god.
I know.
Oh my god.
But I don't. I'm on this diet.
Buying hummus.
I'm on a diet, so I barely eat hummus. My whole thing now, I'm going to go on a tangent. If you want to lose weight, and if you're Jewish, and let's say you have like Sabbath meals, is cut out all those salatim. Hummus. I skipped that part, especially in the summer when we eat so late.
Have you seen the evil things going on in America with hummus? The chocolate hummus, the blueberry hummus.
Oh yeah, I know.
This stuff? I mean,
Are you kidding? It's genius.
It's evil.
Okay. You know what? Okay, let's say
I'm being a snob.
let's say we made Jezreel hummus wine. Okay, with 2% hummus.
No.
Of course, no. Not your branding. A new label, a new brand.
Hummus wine.
Yeah. Just like Marriott owns Four Seasons and they own DoubleTree.
Yeah, so it's a hummus wine.
Now, what if you make another wine?
We'll do a private label.
A private label. Hummus, blueberry, whatever.
Hummus.
Everyone's got their different thing that they want, right? Anti-Alzheimer's. Is Alzheimer's on in your family? Get crunked on this. And what if instead of argamon, you called it argamone and you say it's good for sex? Wouldn't that sell?
I guess it would.
But it would hurt your brand, right? Well, it depends.
With the Shiraz, maybe it would go well. But yeah.
So here's most people's experience with wine when it comes in in my opinion. You go to a supermarket or your wine and spirits, you're looking down and you're going like this. You're like, first off, you're seeing 100 of wines. So first off is you got to have a sexy label. which you do have.
Yes.
You have a nice label. I like the rectangle. So this is, by the way, when we talk about banner ads, I've had clients that have, like, you see the square around it, the line around the border, the perimeter. This is personal taste. I'm a big fan of those. So the first thing is, in order for someone to pick up your wine, you need two things, in my opinion. One, usually under it on the counter as the price, the supermarket or whatever. Retail will have the price. The other thing is the label needs to catch your attention.
Exactly.
So how do you decide on a label? I've seen this sexy label. So I go through and as ignorant, hold that question. I'll answer. And so I might look at one and another, and I'll turn it around and I'll read a dumb description. Oh, this tastes like whatever, and it feels like Bluetooth, and I don't know, all these things that aren't relevant, right? A little bit of talc and baby powder. I have no idea. Okay, well, I like this. Will my girlfriend or wife like this? Will my guests like this? Will this be a good present?
Have you ever seen the second cheapest bottle of wine? It's a spoofy thing. Look it up on YouTube. Look up on YouTube. Second cheapest bottle of wine. One of the funnier wine videos.
Oh yeah. All right, I'll just send it later. Put in the comments.
Yeah.
Okay. So I go through and remember, this is marketing. So one, price point.
Right. You don't want to be the cheapest.
You don't want to be the cheapest. You can be the most expensive. That's fine, but you don't want to price yourself out. You need to find an ROI. Then you want to need a label that's enough for people to pick up and now consider you among, let's say, 3-4 wines that they'll consider that they don't sell. Now, I'm looking at here. How on earth there's all the dumb, stupid things? People know, oh, it's got taste of this, and that. Okay. How do you differentiate when they more or less say the same thing? Because I go there, and then in the end, people, I'm going to guess here, will buy on price. Or this is on sale, but its retail is higher than usual. So I think I'm getting perceived value, whether that's true or not. I'm just saying as ignorant.
So the perceived value is very important. So like, when Haagen-Dazs started out, how did they get people to start buying Haagen-Dazs?
They told them they were Dutch, right?
It was
like a New Yorker Jew.
You know that little jingle, there ain't no Hagen, there ain't no Daz, there ain't no Steve at Steve's Ice Cream, but there's two real guys named Ben and Jerry, right? But all those people, all of those people, right? Steve's, Ben and Jerry, Haagen-Dazs, they were selling ice cream for 3 times the price, right? Of the ice cream that was just next to them. How did they get them to try it? So they basically did 2 things. One, they went on massive tasting things, but they also
went
massive tasting, like give out.
Oh yeah. By the way, which is I have. I'm gonna go on limbs because this is right.
Yeah.
I have like people telling me, and I have friends, and I have networks, and I'm very close to a lot of people. And there are 2 schools of thought. There's the Gary Vaynerchuk school of thought, which I think is the correct one, which is give the shit away for free.
Get people to get it into
people don't know your expertise.
Get it into their mouth.
No, I spoke to other people, right? Exactly, right? Okay, we go back to back to the Argamone brand. Your Argamone brand, 2020.
Exactly.
Shiraz. Shiraz. And then there's other people that like. So I'm not gonna say who. Someone I'm close with is a chef, and I say he should put all of his recipes online. And what he does, because he's a chef / caterer. Oh, so his catering business, they can make it their own, and if they like it enough, they can taste things good. And I said, even print out magnets with QR codes to all of those things. So people in your house, easy, quick menus for things. Let's say you make hummus at home or whatever, or some quick crock pot dishes. And I say, no, we shouldn't give away secrets. He's known for being an excellent chef, the top in the city, which he is. If you want to know who he is, contact me if you're in the greater Philly area. He's very good. It's my brother. He's very good. It's like, oh, there's that, right? And then some people, there's just one way of thinking. And other people think, no, don't give it away. And in my opinion, just give it away. So
I'll tell you what the pitfall is in all this, particularly in wine, right? We make wine in relatively limited quantities, and we are a business, right? We're trying to make money. If we literally give it all away, then we don't have anything, and we go out of business. So there's how much do you give away or allow people to taste? So, for example, we do something every Friday. We're here at this winery. We do 50 shekel, which is like whatever that is in dollars. These days, $14, around $13, $14. Where drink as much as you want. 50 shekel. Come drink as much as you want, as many varieties as you want.
Wait, when is this?
Every Friday.
Why don't I know about this?
Now you do.
No, but why don't I? Right?
It's okay. So every Friday, 50 shekel, drink as much as you want.
That's awesome.
In Hebrew we call it touchpoints, right?
Mhm.
So,
And then you work out a deal with the police that they know, and they come to pull people over to drive up.
we make sure people. We had a guy come in a helicopter a couple of weeks ago, and he very correctly said, from bottle to throttle in no less than 8 hours. So he did not partake of the 50 shekel, but the people he brought,
You couldn't afford it, right? You spent all the money in the helicopter.
the people he brought drank enough for him. It's okay. So you do things like that where you're probably going to lose money. You're probably thinking, you just want people to try. Just try. Make it as affordable as you can. The trouble with giving away stuff sometimes is that then they don't really appreciate it. So like our mutual friend Jeff Hover says, if the event is free, then the RSVP to actual attendee ratio will be
30
wacky, right? Or much worse. He said if it's $1, people show up.
Yep, no, I know this.
People show up.
I know when I have my LinkedIn local events, LinkedIn local Tel Aviv, just a shameless plug. You should attend. The next one is in the end of September. We're closing out on the date and location soon. I mean, it's free. And I just take the number of registers and I do times 0.3, and that's how many show up.
Right. So anyway, so there's a question of where's that balance of just giving it away for free and taking something or charging something.
Right.
But we do a lot of stuff where either it's free or we're not really making any money, and sometimes people know that or sometimes they don't know it. But we do want people to respect what, we don't want, I never want people, just pouring something and then throwing it out or not even drinking it or whatever. It's like, for example.
But doesn't it go with it?
Well, I'll give you an example.
Something
that both you and I know, right? Kiddush after services, after Tefillah on Shabbat morning, right? So for those people who are not familiar with the custom, after services on Sabbath morning, there's like refreshments, everybody partakes. And some people have this, what I find, very annoying habit, is they'll take whatever wine is there, and then they'll pour little cups for everyone and give it out to everyone, even if nobody asked for it, and give it all out. And then people stand there with it, and it's usually crappy wine because they're giving it out. And then they'll say the blessing, and most people will not drink it.
Or take a sip and
put it down. Right?
Okay.
It's the biggest waste, even of crappy wine, right? So, whenever I do the kiddush and I bring the wine, and it's anybody who wants wine, I will pour you some wine.
Yeah, but then there's a barrier. It's like, there's like gating content.
There has to be some barrier.
Let's talk about this. Okay? Because now you're talking.
There has to be a barrier.
We killed another bottle. now we're talking about gated content, right? So there's an argument.
But the gate is very low, right? So
the gate needs to be low.
One of the things that we wanted with our own wine is that it should be, in Hebrew we say begove at eye level. We didn't want
that goes for everything on the shelf, right? You want it to be.
Yeah, but we wanted people to feel that this one's approachable in terms of a wine, but we also wanted people to feel that it was affordable, and that's a very subjective term.
Right.
Very subjective.
Affordable. Because do some people perceive that as poor quality?
So no, just what is affordable. So what's affordable to me and what's affordable to you could be very different things, or vice versa. So for example, when I'm in the States and I talk to people and somebody says, how much does your wine cost? Or they say, forget my own wine, I say, how much should a good bottle of wine cost?
Right.
And I say, before I answer that question, were you at Starbucks today?
Right.
9 times out of 10 these days, and all the respect to so whatever his name is, Mr. Starbucks, they were in Starbucks.
Right.
And then I say, especially if it's like 4 o'clock already or 5 o'clock, and I say, you know what? I probably went back to Starbucks. They said, yeah, right. I went back to Starbucks. I said, okay, so we've established that you spend $12 to $15 today on whipped cream, water, and sugar. Yeah. Very little coffee at Starbucks. Very little coffee. This is not, Kilimanjaro coffee. No, this is very little coffee. So there's been whipped cream, water thing. You spend $15, and it took them all of 30 seconds to make those 2 cups of coffee.
Correct.
And that's $15. Now, I'm going to give you a bottle of wine that somebody worked on for over 2 years.
Yeah, but there's a difference. You know why?
And this
is inappropriate for me to get wasted in the morning.
No, but this
I can't. Look, I'm ready to open up.
But I'm saying, but this is going to be $30. So if somebody's going to say, "Ooh, $30, that's an expensive bottle of wine," I said, "What are you talking about? This bottle of wine, well, we polish it off, but most people right? They'll take a bottle of wine, 2 people at dinner, right? That's what they do.
I'm not friends with these people.
So it's $15 a person added to the cost of their dinner.
Yeah,
They
it's
went
not
to
Starbucks.
Starbucks. They thought nothing of spending $15. So what I'm saying is, what's affordable is such a subjective.
Oh, okay, that's true. Well, I think it's what you prioritize.
It's where and how you intellectualize. Is that a word? How you?
It's a word enough for
how you conceive it in your mind.
Rationalize it.
Rationalize it.
Rationalize it.
Yes, if somebody's living on $1 a day, it's a different conversation. There are people obviously who sadly live on $1 a day.
Yeah, it is, but it's true. First off, Alex, I know you want wine, maybe a haircut. Okay, you're like the 5th person this week.
I got a haircut.
No, I need a haircut.
I know.
You're actually talking about what great hair you have, and I hope I have good hair at your age. So then, since all my friends are losing it, yeah, Alex, I know you're bald, so I'll dish it back. Alex used to head up our SEO operations. Adam, can't watch now. Let's discuss potential visitors in a few weeks. Adam, you're welcome to stay at our house. Best wine in the world. Thank you, Moshe. I agree. This is freaking fabulous wine. All right, so let's get back to where we were going. All right, so why not, like...
we do have to wrap up soon.
We do have to wrap up soon. I also have a meeting in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He's going to bury dead people. That's actually what's happening. Whatever. He doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's... So what do you think? Do you think, Mark, what if you opened up a small wine kiosk in downtown Tel Aviv? Do you think it would do well?
So there are wine kiosks. Again, there's an issue of, there's a great place in Sarona in Tel Aviv called the Tasting Room. And it just reopened. And why is it great? Because the concept is they have these machines where they put the bottle of wine in, and you can just take out literally a sip of wine from the bottle. And so the bottle can stay for quite some time, can stay fresh for quite some time. So you literally can go taste it.
And it's a machine. It's cool. Yeah, they have an adult-owned winery for tasting.
Yeah.
And you pay like this, 6 shekel a taste.
Yeah,
10 shekel.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, this is ridiculous. Where's the...
But what I'm saying is for in Tel Aviv, to be able to taste 40, 50 wines, you don't have to taste one, but to be able to taste 40, 50 wines from all over the country, where else can you get that kind of immediacy and that kind of experience? So it's a great place. People should check it out. The Tasting Room in Sarona, if you come to Tel Aviv. There are similar concepts in other cities around the world. The more that people can try to, the more that people, there's some coffee being made. We multitask.
When you're making coffee wine, since you're talking about it.
Well, what do we have?
Starbucks will do it.
Hummus wine.
We got hummus wine, we have argamone,
and we have coffee.
and we have coffee. So one's for the evening, one's for night, one's for the morning.
Yeah. So yeah, we got all the above. So anyway, so we have all of those. Now going back to the question is, I think people need to be able to taste the wine as much as possible, and anything that you can do to expose more people. So, for example, wine bars, right? I think wine bars there need to be more wine bars to make it more approachable to people, and I think they need to be thinking in micro, like the same way we talk about micro content. People think they need to think about micro tastes. In other words, if you say to somebody, "Yeah, it's 2 shekel for a taste." Oh, okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just like people buy lemonade from some kids for 2 shekel.
2 shekel,
for like 4 ounces.
Or if you said even more so, it's 10 shekel as many tastes, as you.
That's my kind of thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is, and you have to, hopefully, most of the people come are somewhat nice and don't abuse, what you're offering. But the more we can get people to basically cross the chasm and break down the barriers that we were talking about before, the gated community, to break down the barrier and taste it, like teaser content, and taste what we're talking about, then we'll all be far better off. And people will understand what they like and don't like and so on. If you're limiting yourself only by, no offense, only by budget and what's in the supermarket, and buying the 25 shekel, which is like $7.
Why would someone break out of that habit? People are going to the supermarket. You were talking about this earlier.
We're talking about quality, right?
People are going to the supermarket anyway.
Right.
So even if they love wine and their supermarket doesn't provide, let's say, the top wines of some of their favorite names, but it has a few, one or two or three of their favorite names.
Yeah.
That's enough for them
Right.
to make that extra stop.
Right. So the question is how to get people, whether it's that we need to do more kiosk type, pop-up type operations where people get exposed to it, where there can be delivery to your house without you really having to think much about it. There needs to be a whole ways of getting people more connected. In Israel, but around the world. It doesn't make a difference. Even France, even America, all around the world. There's too much intimidation. There's a lot of great, by the way, media sites right now around wine. Wine Folly, Vine Pair, which make wine much more approachable.
Mm-hmm.
And those are a lot of free content on both of those sites. Vine Pair and Wine Folly.
So tell us real fast before we sign off about a little bit about what you're working on.
Guys,
we talk a lot about disruption. This is obviously a common theme in life and everything. We see it a lot, right? Whether it's Uber, PayPal, Bitcoin, everything's just all about disruption. So how do you disrupt the wine world? Think about it for a minute, right? In America, there's a regulation that you can only do one out of the three, right? You can either produce wine, distribute wine, or retail or sell wine.
right. It's called the 3-tier system.
That's called the 3-tier system. Now, I'm from Philly, which is Pennsylvania.
The worst.
Which is the worst laws. And the governor, Rick Scott, the former governor, is Republican. He tried to change it, but of course, the unions that have these jobs are so against it.
Well, no,
It's so
it
backwards.
could also be the wealthy distributors who are trying to protect
Right.
their turf as well.
But the unions were the ones that fought it, and they brought all the
But
other.
there's a lot of.
I'm just telling you, reading the Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I'm saying, but you see a lot of.
And they're not the only ones that have interest. So disruption is great because what it's doing is taking the hand out of the powerful that are controlling prices and manipulating, taking advantage of us. And we as individuals, as people, as companies, corporations, small corporations, we're able to take control.
Right.
Right?
So wine has been sold essentially according to the same rules since the times of the Roman Empire when they came to Israel and took over the wine operation here and started exporting wine all over the Roman Empire through the port.
Wait, you're saying regulations?
Which is where you played golf this morning.
Yeah, right by where I live. So you're saying most of Western and American regulation related to alcohol is from since the Roman occupation of Israel?
It's kind of thousands of years.
Well, most regulation in general is ancient and outdated.
The Romans used to collect customs duties right over here.
Yeah, right here, yeah.
Literally down the road from here.
Now they're called the Israel Tax Authority.
Yeah. So, anyway, but in terms of disruption, I think there's two issues, right? One is the issue that you said as soon as you were sitting here, where you said, "Oh my God, all this content which I'm not exposed to."
Right.
So that's everything about the wine world and exposing people to the wine world. The second thing is breaking down these 3-tier systems to intermediate between you and the winery. So you have an engaged experience, but also on the economic side, so that you can order wine directly from the winery, which is what you're doing with many other things today. So I said I can't solve this for one winery, but it's all these issues. So about a year ago, started working on a platform. It's called Vincent, Vincent, which is to send your wine.
Vincent.com?
Vincent.wine.
.wine. Oh, really? Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Vincent.wine.
Do you basically own everything with the .wine now?
I've looked for a lot of I bought a lot of .wine.
Did you buy like all of the other winemakers and your competitors .wine?
I didn't because I'm not that kind of person. But
Why?
I told them because I'm not. I'm too
Right.
nice. Yeah.
You're too nice.
Too nice. Anyway, so my parents raised me to be a nice person. What can I do? Anyway, but I tell people they should buy their .wine. But going back, so we said, okay, there's two things we need to tackle. We need to offer to boutique wineries around the world a super easy to use platform where they can go online and sell wine direct to consumer, but not just the sales piece, but also the content engagement. So, and this couldn't have worked 10 years ago, right? So if we had said to, like what we did earlier today, if we had said to your average winemaker 10 years ago, do me a favor, film yourself in the winery and tell me what you're doing, right? For a minute a week or 5 minutes a week.
Right.
It would have been a massive production.
Right.
There's no way they would have been able to do it.
Right.
Today, take out your phone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take out your phone and just talk for a couple minutes.
Exactly. Right.
Just talk for a couple minutes.
Which we did.
Right.
Which we did. Which
we
did. Go to Jacob's profile and go take a look. We just check it out. I was like, wait, what's going on behind you? There's great content. Why are you recording this?
That content is priceless.
Of course, there's no way.
It does not exist.
If you regularly put out content that adds value or is interesting, it's priceless. So to go back to something you were saying earlier about the whole process,
but it's both together. I'm saying
right.
It's content and the unit economics. They both. So, for example,
and you're connecting human relations.
Yeah,
so you say if you're at the supermarket, if you see Jezreel wine, you see another wine with a pretty label with let's say the same price, and you read the back interest. But you know what? You can associate this label with this Puno. Now they're more likely to know, or this personality, or they know Batya, who's doing the video. Batel, the daughter of God. That sounds like a video game. Anyway, whatever. You see that, and then you're more likely. You see the source. You see what's going on. You see the pH being tested. You actually trust the source more.
Yeah, for sure.
Than the bottom. Now, after you watch the video, you're going to trust Jezreel more after you watch the video of just literally us hanging out and drinking and showing what's literally going on behind us.
Yeah. So it's those two things. And this bottle of wine, which you then order directly from the winery, and you get to your house in New York or Philadelphia, hopefully sometime soon, or wherever, or Buenos Aires, and you get your bottle of wine, you're getting it directly from the winery. So there aren't all these stops along the way, importer, distributor, store, which are all adding cost and separating you from the source. Right. So when somebody's buying my wine, forget the price that they're paying, which they're paying usually about 3 times what they need to in New York. But somebody who's paying for a bottle of wine of ours in New York, or in Chicago, or wherever, what's the bigger problem than the economic problem? I have no idea that they're drinking my wine.
Why?
Why is that a problem? I'm not getting any feedback from them.
No, we know why.
Oh, why?
We're all marketers. Why are you getting in? And how?
Why am I not getting any feedback? Because for them to be in direct contact with me, buying the wine in a wine store would mean that they would have to work to give me that feedback. They'd have to go to my website. They'd have to fill something out. So it's just too much work.
Let's talk about this. So I want to talk about sales and marketing for a minute because this is very relevant. Often we go for the ask in business in general, which is normal. Hey, can you please?
Right.
Whatever it is.
Right.
If you're asking someone to do you a favor, they'll help your business, and you're asking more work on their part,
right,
without, let's say, more compensation, or they get to share on the data or the information, for what? It's wasted. So when you go in for the ask, you have to make it as easy as possible it is for them to be able to share that information with you. So I just want to say, as a marketer, I can't or people doing sales, is that they say, like, I'm trying to think of a universal example. Let's say you're trying to schedule a meeting to do a free wine tasting. Instead of you have to guide people and you have to make it easy. Right. Instead of saying, how much is your budget? What wine do you like? Sometimes narrowing it down, giving some options, giving some time frames, showing here's what I recommend, right, or here is a template.
Right. But bottom line, I think it has to be even easier. In other words, when someone orders that, whatever it is, in our case, and for boutique wineries around the world, somebody's ordering that wine, automatically a connection should be created between us where I can send you content, the content that we talked about. I can send you content. I can invite you to come kind of further in. If you don't want to, you don't have to, whatever. And I think you need to do it in a marketplace type environment where I'm not doing all this work just for this particular wine. As a smart person said to me a number of years ago, nobody has one brand, right? One type of wine, their wine cellar, or even their refrigerator if they don't have a wine cellar. Nobody has one. People like variety, right? People don't want to eat just one thing all the time, or drink one thing all the time. We want variety.
Right.
And that's why marketplaces lend themselves to that variety. So you don't have, same way when I go into Amazon, I'm looking for all kinds of things in Amazon. I'm not looking for just one thing. I'm looking for all kinds of different brands. I'm looking for all kinds of stuff. Same thing whether I go to a bookstore or whatever it is. I want variety. And I think the same thing in terms of wine as well. And I think everybody benefits.
That's true.
And I think the cake becomes bigger, the pie, whatever you prefer, becomes bigger for everyone. Everyone will end up drinking more. I think will end up drinking more wine. I don't think we're cannibalizing anything. I think you'll increase the amount of wine people drink as they get more knowledge and more connected.
Sure. Real fast noises. Yes, drinking after golfing is always great. After swimming is probably the easiest time to drink. I was talking about this. Like, if we're like overeat, like, oh, go swimming for like 15 minutes and you're like hungry again.
Best thing, go for, do you run?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So I run in the hills here, and if I end my run at the winery, they are Lebanim, or white wine.
Your whites.
Like chilled white wine after, say, a 10 to 15K.
Hold on. Lower your standards. Most people don't run 15K.
5 to 10K.
After you walk your dog, which I hope you do, because most people in this country let their dogs running shit free. Please stop that.
A nice chilled white wine.
Yes.
In the Israeli summer. Perfect.
Yes. After going out for a walk in the Israeli summer, try some white chilled wine. All right, before we sign off, can you taste live? You're welcome here. Will you give people free tasting and they just show up?
Anybody who mentions this LinkedIn Live will get a free tasting.
There you go. Comment below, ask for a free tasting, tag it, make a post or share it, and you'll come and you can get a free tasting. All you can drink on Fridays.
Yeah.
Awesome. You can bring your girlfriend and give her some Argamone wine.
And download Vincent, Vincent. It's on the App Store, Google Play.
Wait, but why would they download this? What's that? What can they do with this app?
They can go to 16. They can go directly to 16 different boutique wineries from around the world, including Jezreel, and pre-order at incredible pricing wine, which will come directly to their house.
In other words, you're cutting out the distributor, the middleman, the store, everything. Pay less, get more,
get a lot more content.
Get much better wine directly ordered to your house at the best rates. Don't go to the supermarket. Go to Vincent, Vincent.wine, and order Jezreel to try some of the other 14 or so other wines. And they're bringing on more wineries. Anyway, so we're going to sign off. Thank you, everyone, for your time. This is Jacob Ner David from Jezreel Valley Winery. Come up here and come take a visit. And if you have any questions, leave in the comments. I'll be responding to them later. Or feel free to direct message me or Jacob. Thanks, Jacob. Thanks.
Yeah.